Well, hello. This is continuing the Strength and Rest for the Weary series. And what we're going to do, this is going to be a 3 or 4-parter. We're going to look at dealing with failure. We all fail. We all fail often in minor ways, but sometimes we have dramatic or traumatic failures. And dealing with that, or the aftermath of it, can be extremely difficult. And what we're going to do is to look at how God deals with our failures or looks at our failures. Sometimes in those situations we talk about the need to forgive ourselves. I must admit I'm not that comfortable with that sort of notion. I can see something in it, but it's a very self-focused or self-centered approach. What I want to do is first to take a God-centered, a God-focused approach to this. Because being self-focused is, in many ways, it's the root of our rebellion against God, the root of our problems. We need to be God-focused. Jesus said, if you lose your life for my sake, you'll find it. It's when we are focused on God that we become what we're meant to be. And far from losing our life, we actually find it when that happens. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at Peter. It's perhaps the most famous example of failure in the Bible. And we're going to look, first of all, in Matthew at his account of Jesus predicting that Peter would deny him. Then we're going to look in Luke, appropriately enough, at how Jesus dealt with it, what Jesus' attitude and response to Peter was, knowing that he would deny him. Then we'll look briefly at the restoration in John's Gospel. And then after that, we'll look at what Peter learned from this. Because there were 2 or 3 things in 1 Peter, his first letter, which just show that Peter understood what was going on and learned from it. So let's go, first of all, to Matthew. Let's just read them. It's from 26, verses 31 to 35. It's at the Last Supper. It says, Jesus told them, this very night you will all fall away on account of me. For it is written, I will strike the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock will be scattered. But after I have risen, I will go ahead of you into Galilee. Peter replied, even if all fall away on account of you, I never will. Truly I tell you, Jesus answered, this very night before the cock crows, you will disown me 3 times. But Peter declared, even if I have to die with you, I will never disown you. And all the other disciples said the same. First of all, just a couple of things to notice. The first is that Jesus knew this was going to happen. And it is a fulfillment of Scripture. Notice also in verse 32, he says, after I have risen, I will go ahead of you to Galilee. This stuff just went way over the head of the disciples. It was the death of Jesus was the only thing which they kind of latched on to. Then notice also that all of them, Jesus said all of them would fail Jesus. It wasn't just Peter. Peter is kind of, he says at the beginning there, this very night you will all fall away on account of me. And then at the end it says, all the other disciples said the same. So although we have Peter at the forefront of all this, as he often was, the others were just the same. There's no difference really, but we focus on Peter. So Jesus knows it's going to happen. And then we have Peter. Peter denies it vehemently. He says, if all fall away on account of you, I won't. Not me. I'll die with you, Jesus. I'll die for you, Jesus. And presumably he meant these things. No reason to doubt that he meant it. But we all know what happened. The first time a servant girl asked him or challenged him, you were with Jesus? He denied it. And I'm sure we all know people who make great claims, but when it comes to the bit, they're nowhere to be seen. And probably the times that we've made great claims about ourselves, and when it comes to the bit, we just fail badly. So this is what we have here. Jesus telling Peter he's going to deny him. Peter vehemently denying it. Even though Jesus knows full well that he will deny him. So let's leave it there for the moment, and then we'll go on to more of Jesus' attitude and more of the purpose in the next wee bit.